What if an ancient virus frozen for thousands of years could spark a deadly pandemic? Ponder on that as we delve into the chilling world of the Arctic permafrost. Warmer temperatures are causing this frozen layer to thaw, unearthing secrets from ages past. Imagine permafrost as a time capsule, preserving remnants of extinct animals, and more alarmingly, ancient viruses. Scientists have successfully breathed life into these long-frozen viruses, revealing their potential to pose significant threats to public health. Among these icy depths, traces of viruses and bacteria that can infect humans have been found, including strains responsible for the notorious 1918 influenza pandemic and smallpox, diseases that have ravaged humanity in the past. As the permafrost continues to melt, the risks of these ancient viruses jumping to new hosts increase, raising serious concerns about potential spillover events. With global warming hastening this thaw, we're essentially in a race against time. As the permafrost thaws, the clock is ticking on what could potentially be a new pandemic from an ancient enemy. Imagine a virus frozen for 48,500 years being brought back to life. Sounds like a sci-fi movie, doesn't it? But it's not. This is the reality of what French professor Jean-Michel Claverie has discovered, a virus that, despite being encased in ice for tens of thousands of years, can still infect living amoebas. These ancient or zombie viruses are a chilling reminder of the past, but they could also represent a very real threat to our future. As global temperatures rise and the Arctic permafrost thaws, these viruses are being released from their icy tombs. And the scary part? They're still infectious. These viruses aren't picky about their hosts. They can leap from one species to another, a phenomenon known as a spillover event. And as the world gets warmer and permafrost continues to thaw, the risk of these spillover events is increasing. But it's not just about the potential for a new pandemic. It's about understanding these ancient viruses, how they function and how they could impact our ecosystems. This isn't just an ancient virus, it's a zombie virus capable of rising from the dead and potentially causing a public health crisis. As permafrost thaws, the risk isn't just in the release of ancient viruses, but also the reactivation of ancient bacteria. Remember the 2016 anthrax outbreaks in Siberia? It was a chilling example of how ancient bacteria can spring back to life due to the thawing permafrost. Anthrax, a bacterial disease, had lain dormant in the frozen soil for decades, only to be reactivated and cause a sudden outbreak. It's a stark reminder that the past, when awakened, can create ripple effects in the present. But bacteria and viruses are not the only concerns. The permafrost also houses remnants from our not-so-distant past. Think of chemical and radioactive waste from the Cold War era. As the permafrost thaws, these harmful substances could potentially seep into the environment, causing untold damage to wildlife and ecosystems. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, the melting permafrost is a treasure trove, a time capsule preserving ancient viruses, extinct animals, and relics from our past. But on the other hand, it's a ticking time bomb, holding threats that could harm both animal and human health. These are not just hypothetical scenarios. Traces of viruses and bacteria that can infect humans have been found in the permafrost. This includes the influenza strain responsible for the 1918 pandemic and the virus that causes smallpox. So, the threat is real and it's urgent. The thawing permafrost is like a Pandora's box, and what it unleashes could have far-reaching consequences. The Arctic's deep freeze is melting, and we must brace ourselves for what comes next. Understanding these risks, contained in thawing permafrost, is no longer a choice, but an imperative. As we move forward, we must realize that the revival of these ancient viruses and bacteria is not just a fascinating scientific discovery, but a potential public health concern that requires serious attention. Further research into these organisms is crucial. It's not just about understanding their structure and functionality, but also about devising strategies to combat them should they pose a threat to public health. In the world of science, knowledge is power. The more we know about these ancient viruses, the more prepared we can be. It's not about inciting fear, but fostering preparedness. As we've learned from the past, awareness and readiness can make all the difference when it comes to managing and mitigating the impacts of a viral outbreak. However, it's not just the world of science that needs to take action. The rapid thawing of permafrost driven by climate change is a wake-up call for all of us. It's a stark reminder that our actions have a direct impact on the world we live in. The consequences, as we're seeing, can be unexpected and far-reaching. We cannot afford to ignore the climate crisis any longer. The need for climate action is urgent and undeniable. Reducing our carbon emissions, Transitioning to renewable energy sources and adopting sustainable practices are just a few of the steps we need to take to slow down the warming of our planet. The ancient viruses and bacteria locked in the permafrost are a stark reminder that our actions have consequences, some of which may be buried deep in the ice waiting to re-emerge.